In this video, I will talk about the role of material in ESP. In ESP, one of the main concerns is material design. Several reasons account for this. If you may have difficulty in getting materials to suit your purpose, thus overcome the problem you may have to write your own. Secondly, buying materials in constant other arrangement like placing an order and waiting for it to be processed takes time. Some people also write materials because they have a passion for writing, or they may want to improve the reputation of their institution through publication. For the next part is role of materials. Essentially, materials have several roles to play. They are A. To encourage learning. Materials should be attractive and make learning fun and enjoyable. The fun factor is often the push factor in getting students to participate and learn. B. Materials should be practicable for use. The organizing framework should show the learning and teaching process clearly. A materials model will help to illustrate how the materials fit into a scheme, and it will help the teacher to plan his or her lesson effectively. C. Materials written will show the writer's belief about how language is to be learned. The writer shows clearly what his or her views are so that those who use the materials clear about the way language learning is viewed and understand the approaches used. D. There should be a clear indication of what language tasks reflect. The complexity of language needs to be emphasized. Tasks shouldn't be simplistic. At the same time, the materials have to be manageable. E. The students should be motivated to use them. One way is to stimulate their learning as well. Teachers can be challenged to try new ways to teach and to improve themselves. Expressing themselves through material design is a form of challenge. F. Finally, materials are written to show accuracy in language use. For the ESP teacher especially, he or she may have to do some research to make sure that the content is accurate besides the language used. Materials can be teacher-generated, and they can also be student-generated. In generating materials, teachers need to decide on the carried content in real content and then match them to the course. The skills and tasks should be varied to stimulate the students. Then the teachers need to create the tasks so that they are manageable and their presentation should be clear and attractive. For students who could help in generating materials, preset frameworks will be useful. The main purpose is to give context to the language used that is suitable and appropriate to the level of the students. The students can use different frameworks for different purposes such as thus focus and effect, comparison and contrast, disadvantage and brainstorming. The internet is currently a large source for all kinds of materials. The teacher of the student is able to access the materials quite easily for adoption or adaptation. Alternatively, the teacher can examine CALL materials to see if they fulfill the needs of the students, and using computer technology to assist teaching. The teacher will need access to a computer and an LCD as teaching aids. For the next part is a model for writing or producing materials. There are the design elements and the purpose. A. Input. B. Content focus. C. Language focus. D. Text. Next, materials evaluation. Materials evaluation can be helpful in saving money and minimizing the frustration of searching the right materials to use. In addition, it provides good justification to sponsor for purchase of materials for use. Next, how to evaluate materials. The process of materials evaluation essentially goes through three stages. The first is to define the criteria of evaluation. The next stage consists of analysis of criteria which is both subjectively and objectively carried out. And then from the analysis, the final stage is to decide on whether the materials match your needs. The details for each step of the analysis process are spelled out according to audience, aims, content, and methodology. The student is constantly reminded that both the subjective and the objective analysis serve to inform your final decision as to whether to adopt the materials or not. Next, conclusion. This topic requires you to apply what you have learned from the earlier ones. Design materials call upon knowledge that you have accumulated about language learning and language use. Careful attention is given to many details as you think through each step involved in the process of designing the appropriate materials for use by the learners. The process is not linear. It will require you to go back and forth as you consider and reconsider the elements and details that pertain to your effort in material design. The goal is to help students learn language efficiently. Design ESP materials carries the extra effort to providing relevant content for a specific audience. Students need have to be identified clearly so that the language experience will enable students to function in the specified community meaningfully and purposefully. And I think that's all. Thank you for watching this video.